White People Will Never Forgive OJ is the title of the book I will be reading an excerpt from. My name is Elizabeth Cowan. All white people love the Ku Klux Klan. Their ominous sheets and burning crosses make it easy to eschew white supremacy while working daily to perpetuate it. Emboldened by a buffer of passivity, the Klansman does the dirty work, which launders the real work, the daily nepotistic march of plausible deniability, the kindergarten suspensions, the fruitless frisks, the deliberations that climax in a moment of predictable acquittal. During World War I, thousands of troops desperate to escape the front lines endured self-inflicted injuries. Considered the ultimate in cowardice by many, the act nonetheless represented a profound devotion. And the fact of abandonment notwithstanding, I can't help but recognize something courageous in that woe wrought wittingly, that bone-shattering submission to pain and lifelong disability in pursuit of a long life. There is little else I remember learning of World War I. A stronger impression was made by its namesake, a crusade fueled by recency, by images of liberated camps that affixed to my mind with scrupulous urgency, and perhaps most significantly, by the words of a young girl with pale skin and dark hair to match my own. I don't remember if I wondered in school what the First World War must have been called before its successor, but if I had thought about it, I'm sure I would have realized that no one would have called such horror the first. That would have been like calling Jim Crow at its inception Subjugation 1 in anticipation of contemporary drug policy, like calling poll taxes Disenfranchisement 1, chattel slavery, bondage 1. World War I, like the first Gulf War, is a moniker of hindsight. In the thick of now, the desperate did what desperation demands. They took aim at their own extremities and they clung to the only optimism within reach, that today is rock bottom, that this is the war to end all war, which would have been like calling the civil rights movement the march to end all marching, which is like calling 21st century America post-racial. Colorblindness is an act of moral malingering. And unlike the unlawful acts of World War I troops seeking reprieve, this treachery is not complicated by courage nor by suffering. For no white person has ever taken pen to eye in the name of racial absolution. This blindness is a fate. A child's whimpering bellyache the morning of the spelling bee, color blindness is a forged exoneration, a selfish insistence that the sufferings of our creation do not exist and are therefore not worthy of mere inquiry, never mind culpability. It is the height of ethical abandonment, far more dishonorable than a self-inflicted flesh and blood wound. And so I wonder now how my childhood reaction to the Holocaust would have been different had Anne not appeared to me white. I wonder how the responses of everyday Germans, who research reveals knew well of the horrors as they are being committed, would have differed if to them she had. As a child, my family's colorblindness would have rendered either question blasphemous. The instruction then, the tacit kind, the learning, the quiet kind, the private kind. Children are masters of deductive reasoning. With even more urgency than they stack blocks into towers, children build daily syllogism. Before I had finished 4th grade, I knew, major premise, America is a meritocracy where hard work leads to success. Minor premise, Black Americans are among the poorest, most unemployed Americans. Conclusion, Black Americans do not work hard. Major premise, the police act with force to protect good people from bad people. Minor premise, the police struck Rodney King's body with their batons 33 times. Conclusion, Rodney King is a very bad person from whom I must need and rightly, predictably will receive protection. When you tell yourself often enough that you can't see race, you nearly believe it, and that's the danger. Replacing black emerges a host of euphemism which wraps around the heart like a stubborn root, stereotypes calcifying beneath the skin, out of sight, which is what this false blindness really demands, a burying, a slow decay. If you're blind and you don't know it, can you see? White liberals often flatter themselves to imagine hypothetical valor in another self, another time. We want to believe that if alive during slavery, we'd have been abolitionists. If alive during Nazi Germany, we'd have harbored Jews. During the civil rights movement, we'd have marched defiantly with King. But you'd have to squeeze some 25,000 mid-century Germans into a room in hopes of hosting just one known to have aided Jewish escape. If you really want to know if you'd ever have alighted on the right side of history, make a list of all the risks you're presently taking to protect the freedoms of others unlike yourself. Most likely, you'll find yourself to be one of the 24,999 people averting their eyes. It's easy to give an anachronistic thumbs up to the rebels and traitors and dissidents history has already vindicated. Yet, when I think of all the hundreds, thousands of white people I have known, I find that the more closely I consider the ample evidence of their lives, the more quickly the list dwindles toward naught as I struggle to identify which would have claimed solidarity with Mamie Till, Rosa Parks, Sojourner Truth, Ida B. Wells. So I don't believe today, judging from the ample evidence of their lives, that I have ever met a white person who would have saved a Jew, transported a fugitive slave, placed white body in the path of the baton or fire hose. Most won't even utter Black Lives Matter without nullifying qualification, because all white people love the Ku Klux Klan.